Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Self-Published Strong podcast. I'm your host, Andrea Pearson, and I'm joined today by my husband.
Hi, I'm Nolan.
And this is Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom Part 2. Spoilers.
Yes, it is. I don't know where to go from there.
I didn't really give you something to go off of.
Okay. So the first episode, or should I say not the last episode? The previous episode?
The first part of this episode.
Part 1 of this episode. We'll get there. Was about stuff in the trailer. So stuff in the trailer, up to that point. So what do we talk about? We
can talk about the betrayal. We can talk about pretty much anything now.
Okay.
Because we didn't talk about the betrayal in the last one, even though it's in the first episode.
Okay. So pretty predictably, the super military looking guys there are there to steal the dinosaurs, not rescue the dinosaurs, and sell them off later. And so once they have Blue, they don't need Owen or Claire.
It was a surprise to me. I wasn't expecting them to get betrayed.
I wasn't expecting it, but it was inevitable because they're military guys, and so...
There's nothing wrong with being a military guy.
In these movies there is, and there's a 90% chance they're the bad guy.
It's kind of true, unfortunately.
The character they have is the head of the mercenary guys is not a very interesting character.
I did like that he was an older actor.
He is not Pete Postlethwaite. The guy who played his equivalent in Jurassic Park 2.
Oh, yeah.
What was his character's name? Roland? He is a much more interesting character, and...
Yeah, he has more growth.
He has more gravitas. Not that I minded the actor. I actually like the actor who played him. He's just not playing a very interesting character compared to the complexity they put into Roland. And even though I think this movie's better than Jurassic Park 2, this character is not as interesting.
No.
And has no growth. And is.
I don't know that it bothers me. I mean,
I wouldn't say it necessarily bothers me because he doesn't have to be it, but that's just one way that this movie's not as good as the second one. Even though overall the second this
Jurassic one
Park
is
2
better than the second.
Is not as good by a lot.
Yeah.
But one shining part of that was Roland's character.
Yeah, agreed.
And that is not in this one.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean,
that's fine. You can shift the focus somewhere else. But I'm just saying
the second movie,
definitely...
Roland was the only thing I liked about that movie.
Exactly, and he's missing.
Yeah.
And so there's a hole in my heart.
So I liked the betrayal. I loved how it worked out with Claire and Franklin getting stuck in the command center. Because,
that's a good scene.
It was a great scene. And then them going like crap and us going, they're stuck. And then him shooting Owen was awesome with a trank gun.
Yeah, and he wakes up and then he has to escape from lava while he's partially tranked.
Yep. It was awesome. I thought that was some good scenes. I was glad to find the thread that they were stealing for, bad reasons.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't shocked.
Yeah.
But it's fine. I like the island just in general. I thought it was interesting and
I thought it was interesting, but I was a little bit more interested in the second half of the movie.
Fair enough, I wasn't.
I didn't like elements at the end. There were a couple things that I didn't like, and then I didn't like the way they fixed them, even though Okay, so for example, I'm just going to skip straight to the end. I didn't like that they were going to watch the dinosaurs die. I thought that was stupid. I was like, save the dinosaurs. I don't want to have this be a King Kong ending to a movie where we're like crying over the dinosaurs dying. I'd rather them save them, but I didn't like them saving them, though I did think it was very in character for Maisie to save them.
Oh yeah, I do too. I mean, I still think she's the villain of the movie.
Yeah, but she's the villain because they're all over the UK now, but
the world.
Just the
that
UK.
Mosasaurus was surfing.
But that wasn't because of her.
I know, but it was
because of Mills.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like a couple things about the ending. There were a couple things that were really predictable about the climax. And I didn't like the way they got the Indoraptor to fall through the roof by putting the laser on Owen. I'm like, he was trying to get away from it, and all of a sudden he's okay with it charging him.
Well, they had a plan, so...
Yeah.
But I hate it because it shows what a beta Owen is, and that
And I thought he was perfectly in charge
is
and
probably
fine.
sleeping with Claire on the side, so that's why she left him, because he's a complete wuss.
See, and I totally disagree.
Blue saved them. If it weren't for Blue, they're the main characters. They don't do cool stuff. Blue saves them both movies.
Yeah.
Crap.
I'm okay with it.
The hero character should be the one.
He did stuff in both movies to save them.
Driving the plot, and then then Blue comes in.
I mean,
and saves
the
them.
Velociraptors in
Garbage.
Jurassic Park saved them from the Tyrannosaurus Rex saved them from the Velociraptors in the first movie. I mean, how's this any different from that?
How is it any different? Because that was just like the T-Rex don't care. He's just eating stuff.
Yeah.
He's a force of nature, but
Blue actually cares. So having him actually take part makes a difference. I mean, it makes more sense.
it just makes him look like helpless.
But Grant looked helpless having the T-Rex
Yeah, he's
save
supposed
them.
to look helpless. Grant's not a super action hero. He's a guy.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's like Indiana Jones, and then Indiana Jones,
Grant,
somebody else comes and saves Indiana Jones.
As a
and
kid,
then,
I viewed Grant as Indiana Jones.
I didn't. Yeah, it's like if somebody else saved Indiana Jones in the movie and then like runs off, and you're like, wow, that was like so great and stuff. And
So listeners, this is when Nolan and I don't agree.
we don't agree. It's just garbage. I mean, if they teamed up, like it was better in the last movie when they teamed up and like together they defeated whatever it's called, the Indominus Rex. But this time it's like Blue pretty much fought it. Like that whole time it made it fall on the spiky horns. I mean, Owen was there for part of it, but ultimately Blue's the hero and Maisie's the villain in this movie. Maisie kills the whole world with dinosaurs.
So I loved the Indoraptor. I thought it was awesome. Pretty colors.
They made it look really cool. For some reason, it's black instead of white.
With bright yellow.
With, like flaming red and yellow.
Well, their research lately has showed that dinosaurs might have been not colored the way we think they have been. So they are trying to put in a little bit of what it could have possibly looked like if it had been a real dinosaur.
What could it possibly be? They have
in multiple colors that any of the dinosaurs could have been. We've just happened to chosen greens and browns the whole history of dinosaurs.
They've been painting them like weird colors for a while. This, like what if they had mating plumage? And then because we literally have no friggin' idea.
All right, is there a 3-act structure in this movie?
If it is, it's really convoluted because there's like a part A, part B.
Yeah, it's
really hard to. I mean, because like they arrive on the island, they escape the island, and they hide away on the boats and then wind up at the thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess Act 1 is them escaping the island.
Yeah, or it could be Act 1 could be when they find out they've been betrayed.
Yeah. Then Act 2 would be the end of the island, and then Act 3 would be the
Act 2 could be them escaping the island plus getting to the boat plus the boat trip to the UK, and then Act 3 could be the UK. Okay. It's not strong,
Maybe
agree.
I'm okay with that, but yeah, it seemed more muddled.
Yeah.
Which is the problem with the second movie as well. There's this definite break, Mm-hmm. Part A, part B thing. Mm-hmm. That disrupts the structure and the flow of the movie. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's really hard. I mean, because you just change everything. You change all the rules. You change the location. Mm-hmm. The players are all the same for the most part. How did you feel about the supervillain auction? Super cliche supervillain auction that they have in like every movie. Like
every movie.
Like Taken.
Mulan had a great supervillain auction.
You know what I mean.
I was okay with it. I feel like it would have happened, honestly.
Yeah, I'm okay with it, but I
didn't necessarily like the way it was done.
It's a trope. Taken does it.
Taken?
Yeah.
Oh, with
they auction her off. I mean,
yeah, but I've only seen it in like maybe 2-3 movies.
Like any James Bond movie.
Yeah. Anyway,
Puma Man, I think, does it even.
Puma Man? I haven't watched it as closely as you.
They have like a meeting. They have like their supervillain like meeting thing. Anyway, yeah, I don't hate everything about the second part of the movie. They do some really good stuff. Like when the first time they meet the Indoraptor is when Maisie's backing up slowly down a dark hallway, and there's a red line on the ground.
That wasn't. I guess it was part. No, it wasn't part of the second half. That was before they'd gotten off the island because they flashed back and forth.
I guess that's when Mills. Yeah, that's true. They do. But anyway, I count anything with her as the second half.
Yeah.
It's not on the island. Like, island is its own thing. And then they do kind of weave that in. But they go there and then she's there. I don't know.
Yeah.
So maybe it happened during then, but it doesn't really matter because they're pretty much mutually exclusive events.
Yep.
Anyway, and then you see the claws like come out, like approaching her from behind, and she doesn't notice. That was awesome.
And there's the red line on the floor. That
she doesn't notice because she's backing up.
Yeah.
She doesn't see it.
And that's very natural for a kid to do if they're watching.
Well, anybody, she's like, trying to hide, and so she's just cautiously backing.
So a little bit background on Maisie, since we haven't talked about her. She is Lockwood's granddaughter, sort of.
Air quotes.
Yeah, we don't need to get into that. I mean,
she's a clone. It's just straight up.
I guess it's a spoilers episode. I'm like, leave some surprises for them, but if they're listening to this, then they know they're spoilers.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a clone of her mother. Her grandfather didn't want to let her mother go, and so he cloned her and had the same woman raise her that raised his daughter.
Or the governess.
Yeah.
And
I'm going to say right now, every single Jurassic Park and Jurassic World movie has to have kids in it, and this is my favorite way to have a kid in it so far, because she's in a plausible location for a kid, and she's being chased by dinosaurs, but she didn't do something stupid and hide away on a boat to get there.
We totally thought they were going to do that.
We did.
Absolutely, and they kind of let you think that.
They did, actually.
They hooked you, because they're going to the island. They go to Lockwood's residence, or Claire does. Yeah. And then she leaves to go to the island.
And they show a brief snippet of Maisie over listening to them.
And then they can't find Maisie for a while because she's hiding.
Yeah, so we just assumed she's stowed away on the boat. And I was like, are you serious? Really?
Yeah, every time they bring kids to the island, it's stupid.
Yeah, except for Graham or Gray. Actually, I say the first one in Jurassic World I don't have any problem with because kids are there naturally. Jurassic World.
Yeah,
it's
that was the next most plausible reason. But I mean, she never goes to the dinosaurs. The dinosaurs come to her.
Yeah, I mean, because like in Lost World, she stows away, she hides, which is stupid. And then in the third one, I guess the third one's okay too. Maybe it's just the second one I hate because in the third one, Eric's paragliding. He's not supposed to be on the island.
By the island full
and
of
he's
dinosaurs.
Not even really in the movie. He's not. So,
but they have to obligatorily have a child in the movie.
So I think this is the most creative way to have a child in the movie.
No, I agree.
They turned away from the pattern.
Yep.
And I really liked her character. She was very believable as a child in that situation, especially with her grandfather being murdered, and...
Yeah, I wouldn't have hid in my bed, though.
You wouldn't have, but our 5-year-old would have.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Hide under the bed? I think she'd hide under the bed.
She probably would. She hasn't done that in a long time.
No, I feel like that's something... Or in the closet would be. Like, when a kid's hiding, they don't get in their beds.
Yeah, I don't know. Like,
they get under
our
the bed.
5-year-old would grab her favorite blanket and hide in the closet or hide under her bed holding the blanket.
That's how I feel like it. Because I was like, why would you just get into bed?
Yeah.
Plus, it can smell you and track you. Not that you're a kid and think about those.
Though there was one time that I was really annoyed. I mean, it's really hard when you get a dinosaur that's invincible and can do pretty much anything because it's hard to suspend disbelief about it not finding people. Like when it's hunting for...
It's literally sniffing around.
And it passes the door where they're hiding and the door's not even all the way shut. It would have smelled them.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
That was one thing that bothered me. But I was like, well... Maybe their scents are all over the place, except they aren't. That's the first time they've been there. Yeah,
exactly. If it was hunting like Maisie or Lockwood, it would have
had a harder time. Yeah.
But it's not. It's hunting Owen and Claire.
Yep.
And then it would be easy.
Yep.
So, phooey on you. They do a lot of good stuff with... It's more of like a... I like the fact that they're hunted like in such a confined area.
Yes, yeah.
I did like that. Instead of the island.
And I liked the confusion because they're around dinosaurs, and so you can't tell which one is the real dinosaur. I mean...
It feels like a haunted house kind of
like lots of obstacles and...
You know what I mean?
Props and things, yeah.
That's what it felt like. Or like the killers inside the house, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And people have to hide inside the building and like get around.
Yeah.
So that was interesting.
I do say, I mean, the auction, I was disappointed that was what it ended up being. I don't know what I was expecting.
It seemed anticlimactic.
I liked the way they brought the dinosaurs out and put them on display, that was interesting. But all of those people showing up for an auction, I don't know. I was like, not as interesting.
No.
I mean, what could they have done, though? I mean...
I honestly don't know, but it wasn't very compelling. That's why I brought it up.
I did like that there were a lot of juicy, crunchy people around.
They did fill the concrete bunker with crunchy people, and there was much crunchiness.
There was that little dinosaur that had a lot of fun in there.
The headbutt dinosaur.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really liked that. I liked that there were several things that I did like the dinosaur. What is that dinosaur called? The butts things down, breaks things down with its head.
Yeah.
Anyway, it disappears. We don't see it for a while, and then it shows up.
Later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like there's not a lot of Deus Ex Machina necessarily.
No, it feels plausible.
Mm-hmm. And then Blue was plausible because we knew Blue was there.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about Franklin for a minute. Franklin is in the compound with Claire, and he escapes, freaking out the whole time because he's an analyst. He's not an adventurer. And he was great comedy relief. But anyway, so they get off the boat. Okay. So there's a whole bunch of people on the boat watching the island burn down, and they don't notice a truck jumping from the dock onto
I noticed
the boat.
that. I thought that too. I was like, nobody's going to call that one out.
Anyway, so then they sneak out of the truck after that, which I was like, why are they sneaking around? Everybody just saw the anyway. But then Franklin, the one of the boat people, are like, hey, you, what are you doing? Aren't you here helping us?
Yeah, he's like, get to work.
Get to work. So Franklin's like, ah!
So he's like, come with me. We're going to go do something. And he's like,
and that's the last time we see Franklin
for
until
a while. We're at the mansion, and he's wearing like a lab tech outfit. And
he's got like the what is it called, a hairnet on, and a lab jacket, coat,
and a mask and everything.
And we're like, it was great comic relief because we're like, where did Franklin go?
Yeah,
and he's like, fish out of water.
Yep, and then somebody's like, get me a whatever kit, and he's like, okay.
Yeah.
No idea.
It was awesome. I do like the fact that the vet was like, you can't use this blood because I just gave it a transfusion of T-Rex blood.
Oh yeah.
Because that would,
mm-hmm.
if they'd given the transfusion and gone,
yeah,
it wouldn't have worked.
They wanted to take Blue's blood sample so they could clone Blue.
Yeah, and she's like, you can't. I just gave it a huge transfusion of T-Rex blood.
Which is, maybe they could just take a tissue sample. I mean,
maybe all they had was a way to take blood.
Okay.
So one thing that did disappoint me was that the bone got crushed at the end.
There's a whole skeleton underwater.
That's true, actually. Good point. And all the dinosaurs did
And never mind, you could
anyway.
just have a friggin' file with its genetic code sitting on a disc somewhere, you morons.
Dr. Wu escaped as well.
Dr. Wu wasn't in this much. Of course he did. So this is another thing I have a problem with. They set up another lab with Dr. Wu, and he had to evacuate the lab again.
Yeah, I agree with that. They should have had him set up in a separate lab, a remote, where he's just doing his evil stuff. And
yeah. They just need to go the whole way and do the mad scientist thing with like the brains floating in jars.
Did I tell you what Dr. Wu says about his character?
What does he say?
He says that his character is not a villain. He says he's just a scientist who's trying to explore all the possibilities, creating dinosaurs and...
Oh, just messing with stuff for no reason? Okay.
Yep. Well, I'm a little disappointed that you're not arguing that he's not a villain. I mean, the pencil erasing and all of that.
He's clearly a villain. He used a pencil in a lab. He's clearly a villain. He should... obviously he doesn't believe himself to be a villain. Next movie, he's going to have a black lab coat on.
Or a red one.
Or a red one. And then people will wonder why they have red lab coats. Again.
Better Off Ted. So amazing. If you haven't watched Better Off Ted, it's hilarious.
I have 3 lab coats, just so you know.
Do you? I've never seen a picture of you.
I have a blue one.
I don't know that I can believe you have a lab coat.
I have a blue one, a white one, and a purple.
You have never given me any proof.
Why? I'm not allowed.
Dang it! I want to see you in your full getup. I've been married to you for 7.5 years, and I've never seen you in lab attire. Let's see.
So there, I've got all colors.
Okay, so you don't like that Macy. How would you have rather they handled the ending of the dinosaurs dying?
I don't know. I would have killed them.
But the problem is that the way, Claire and Owen, they feel strongly about the dinosaurs. It would have been a King Kong ending. And
no,
I
agree. It would have been
unhappy, unpleasant, or unsatisfying.
I don't know. Have the army show up and shoot them all? I don't know. You can't let them go. You can't let them
go, but you also can't let them die. Owen and Claire can't, because their character, the way they are.
Yeah, I understand it was against, Claire, she was going to let them die, but it wasn't easy for her.
Yeah, And then she decided
But she's
to
like,
let
we
them
can't
die.
just let them out here.
Yeah.
Like, if she was going to
Owen was
save
like,
them,
no,
it would
Owen
be...
was like, you can't let them out. And she was like, but we can't let them die.
And she...
So we had nice character growth with the two of them, her deciding to kill them, basically.
Yeah, she sided with Owen.
Yeah, and then Maisie...
Well, not with Owen, but she saw the logic, and she saw why he said that. I mean, we were going to save them and put them on an island where they could be left alone, not release them into the middle of England.
Yeah, well, now they're going to have to... cut off.
But see,
England
it doesn't even
everywhere.
really matter because they didn't even have breeding pairs of most of those dinosaurs.
They just wreak a lot of havoc.
They will, and even a breeding pair wouldn't be enough genetic diversity.
No, because they would inbreed and
die, and they'd be sick and die.
Yeah.
So I mean, it is a problem, but it's not
for like 50 years.
Yeah, basically is what I'm saying.
Goodbye, UK.
And
unless they capture them and.
Which they would immediately start doing.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they would stick out like a sore thumb. They're not used to that climate anyway, so one good winter would probably kill them anyhow.
Yeah, and the UK is much, much colder than Costa Rica and all that.
Yeah. So, I mean, it seems like it's the end of the world, but maybe it's not.
I don't know if I should tell you this.
There's just not enough of them. There's just not enough of them to sustain a population. But I think that's not the only thing they were worried about. They're worried about other companies being able to clone them now.
Oh, that's true, because the technology is available. They just need to capture them.
Yeah, they just don't know what to copy.
So Colin Trevorrow plans on... There's basically only one more movie.
Yeah, he didn't direct this one, you can tell.
He was the producer.
Yeah. And he wrote.
He wrote, yeah, he was a screenwriter. No, he planned on it being a beginning, a middle, and an end.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
Did I already say that in the last episode?
No, but it'd be nice to have... So we need to do an episode on the problem with sequels, just on its own.
Yeah.
Here's why the...
Maybe we should do that in the episode itself.
I'm just going to pose this.
Okay.
The reason why, let me make sure you can hear me. The reason why sequels suck, and feel free to argue with us, actually engage with us.
Or me argue with you if I disagree.
Yeah, is because a lot of times when you make a book or a movie, like Jurassic Park was self-contained.
Yeah.
Everyone's character arc's complete at the end of the movie, and that's the end. There was no plan. So when you have those characters back again, they have nowhere to go.
Yeah. Unless it's like an episodic where each episode of Batman's cartoon is
and
a new adventure. And you can do that with
Indiana Jones, since we've used that as an example. He doesn't have an arc. He's a heroic, iconic character. He doesn't have to change. He just goes through adventures. But Jurassic Park wasn't that way.
No, it wasn't set up to be that way.
It wasn't set up to have sequels.
You can't take Dr. Grant and set him in the exact same situation and have him, not remember. I mean, nobody would buy that. It's not.
Exactly. And his character arc completed, so having him back again wasn't interesting. He didn't grow as a character. He was just there to make people want to go see it because someone from the original movie was in it. This is the problem with sequels that aren't designed to be sequels.
Yeah. Which Jurassic World, they actually designed it to have sequels, not like Jurassic Park. That's why the 2 and 3 failed.
Yes, exactly. These movies are better.
Yeah.
Than the sequels to the original Jurassic Park.
Yep.
Because they planned.
They planned ahead for it. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
And I think that's why people get sequel fatigue so soon, is they don't adequately plan for sequels in terms of character.
Yeah.
Feel free
to
assault me.
I can use an example. I mean, okay, so my Mosaic Chronicles, books 1 through 5 is a story arc, and books 6 through 9 is a story arc. But Nicole starts at one point, and by the end of book 9, she is still growing all the way across that. There is no end to her character growth until book 9. And my readers, I have not had series fatigue. Like the readers that enjoy my books, they go through the whole thing and they enjoy it, and they don't get I mean, 9 books is a lot of books to read,
Yeah.
So they don't. I mean, there's learning and growth in every single one of in the books,
I do want to do an episode about sequels. We can choose a few series where sequels worked and where they didn't,
and then give examples.
Maybe they had a plan and maybe they didn't. But even sometimes when you have a plan, it doesn't work. Transformers.
Yeah.
And then,
yeah, we'll add that to our episode.
I just think it's interesting. It's
health.
something to think about. You know what I mean? It's for writers, for movies, because you want to write a series. How do you make that work?
Yeah.
how far do you how much do you have to plan to, and how long can your arcs be, and things like that.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think it's interesting.
Yeah.
And we like there's a plethora of series and things we can talk about.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so
series sell better than standalones, and so it would be beneficial.
Yeah.
A lot of people who don't naturally write series would benefit from that sort of a focus. Learning how to write a series, because series sell better.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have any other comments on the movie, or should we go into the top biggest takeaways?
Trying to think. There's plenty we didn't cover in this. We seemed a little disjointed, but that's because of how we wanted to set the episode.
Well, and also because we didn't necessarily agree, and so
That's fine. We don't have to agree.
I know.
It's interesting when we don't.
It's true. But it makes for more disjointedness, because I'm like, okay, I'm done talking about that now. Let's see. The dumbwaiter. I mean, yeah, Mills' character. He's like a good guy in the beginning. By the end, we know he's the bad guy.
Yeah, he was always.
He dies though.
He does.
Again, they killed off the bad guy.
Yeah, they need to not do that
as much. Yeah, agreed.
It'd be nice if they left a bad guy.
Yeah, because Dr. Wu's not a big enough character for it to be that important for him to continue onward. Because
he's not a good villain. He's just a guy that's doing the job he wants to do.
Exactly. He doesn't have. He has no motivation. He doesn't have a backstory. He hasn't ever taken a role, to show that he has.
He's
more
not the planner.
Involved.
He's just the guy.
Yep.
Yeah. So it would have been nice to have like a big bad guy.
Yeah.
But they don't.
Mm-mm.
They do try to tie it to the original movie quite a bit.
They did, yeah.
Or even the second movie, because Lockwood is the villain in the second movie, who must be the son of this Lockwood.
Yeah.
And he calls what's his name, Uncle. They have a close relationship. I thought it was actually
a business partnership, him and Hammond.
Yeah,
like they were
Lockwood
partners.
and Hammond were the partners that started InGen.
Yeah. In
the first place, but they don't really talk about him in the first movie.
No, that's more of a novel thing.
Yeah, but they do mention. I mean, A. Lockwood is the villain of the second movie.
Yeah. Yep.
And so they tie it in that way because Hammond's dead, so they can't have Hammond in there anymore. Mm-hmm. And his grandkids don't want anything to do with the park, I'm quite sure. So that side is closed off. So they went with Lockwood, just like in the second movie.
Yeah, no kidding.
So it is quite the mirror, but a better made one. Again, I think that's because they actually planned for a sequel.
Yeah.
Although I don't think Claire and Owen have the gravitas. When I say gravitas,
I don't care.
They're not as interesting on screen as they were in the first movie.
I don't.
They didn't have as Owen didn't have as many clever.
I am okay with like the tension between the two of them being at the level that they put it at. Because I liked the fact you did not like the fact that she kissed him. I saw your reaction. You're like, ugh. And I was okay with it because it's, I mean, to me, it's neither pointless nor really beneficial. So I don't really care. It didn't take away from the story.
Oh, well, she could have. I just thought the circumstances under which they did it were kind of forced.
Yeah.
It felt forced to me.
Yep.
Whereas it felt spontaneous in the first one when he kisses her, and it literally was anyway.
Amazing in the first one. I agree.
It was absolute perfect timing. This felt forced to me. I mean, they can kiss. I fully.
Well, she was trying to convince him to do something, and the only way she got him to do it was by kissing him.
So sex-based. Well, we're the promise thereof.
I did like that at the end of this movie, they don't have speaking of promise, they don't have a promise that the two of them will be together anymore, because
they're in the car with Maisie, and that's about it.
Because at the end of the first one, she's like, what do we do now? And he says, stay together, Yeah. So that was disappointing to know that they didn't stay together, even though after watching this one, I am okay with how they broke up because it was funny.
It's okay to have plausible breakups, but a lot of time that feels forced too because they want to have the romance arc over again.
Yeah, which
in a sequel.
Which again, they didn't really do that with this one. There was no real romance arc. The only thing they did was have her kiss him.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that's the only, and it wasn't even passionate.
Yeah.
It was more like a thank you kiss, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. All
right, I'm gonna go ahead and give trivia. Okay. All right, so I already talked about how Bryce Dallas Howard is terrified of roller coasters. And that was in the first half of this episode. And then, let's see, more animatronics were used in this movie than any of the other Jurassic Park movies at all.
Interesting, okay.
Yeah, they used a lot, and they put a huge budget into them to make them lifelike. And I'm actually going to read a little bit about what the actor for the vet said. She said she was blown away by how lifelike her reptilian scene partner was, which is Blue, when she was doing the vein, trying to do the blood transfusion. She said it would sweat, its eyes would dilate if hit by light, it had pulsing veins, it felt like reptile skin. It was just the most realistic thing I'd ever worked with, and it felt like I was working with a real animal. I think it cost like 4 Bentleys to make or something crazy like that.
So $1 million.
I thought that was funny.
Nice.
4 Bentleys.
4 Bentleys. We didn't talk about the where they have to draw blood from a T-Rex, but
because it's a creature with the same number of fingers.
Oh.
Because the Velociraptor had like 3 claws. She's like, you got to find something that stands on its hind legs, and
that seems like not the best criteria.
No, but I mean, DNA
like really
would be more similar, is what she's saying. Because like a brontosaurus that's on 4 legs is very different from a Velociraptor.
Yeah, but we can't get monkey blood transfusions, I don't think.
I don't know.
We can't even get transfusions from other humans without having a problem.
It's true.
Let alone a freaking gorilla.
Anyway,
I like that scene though, the where they have to Claire and Owen draw blood from a T-Rex.
That T-Rex, her getting on top of it was one of the biggest animatronic they'd ever made.
It had to be because she was actually on it, and it looks like she's on it.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
I appreciate when they use animatronics instead of CG.
Yep, because it's much more believable.
If you can afford it, do it. I mean, obviously not everyone can.
Mm-hmm. That was a really good scene. Them having to get up into the car with the box car with the T-Rex.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that scene. I also liked when it opened its eyes and Ian was like staring at Owen like, what are you doing in here?
Yeah.
All right, so the blue animatronic required 15 puppeteers. The one that was laying on the bed. Let's see. And I already talked about how the drug used to knock dinosaurs out is 5,000 times more potent than heroin and 10,000 more than morphine. That's pretty much all my trivia. I have to say that I was a little bit disappointed in the trivia because the movie hadn't been out long enough for the best trivia to float to the top, and it would take me 3 hours to read all the trivia. And of course, it hasn't been out long enough for all the good trivia to be actually put in.
Once the DVD
Blu-ray
comes out and they have like the extra making of documentary.
Yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and get into our I always do that. Top 3 biggest takeaways for authors. We already gave one from the first half of this episode. So I've got 2 more. Do you want to go right now or you want me to go?
You can go.
Number 1, title of a movie. Pay attention to branding. Jurassic is in all of the titles for the series. It's the series name, but it tells people exactly what to expect. And I mean, you can't do like long series, but I mean, Harry Potter is in every single title of every single book, So it tells people what's in that book. It's a good way to brand things. And then hurt your characters. Make them have pain. So Claire gets stabbed in the leg.
She gets clawed
by the Indoraptor.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's really important. Of course, they kind of didn't show her limping after.
She does a bit, yeah.
But you need to make sure that your characters are not invincible, because like Tiana Leone or whatever her name is, she just gets a scratch from the plane crash, pretty much, and that's it, And then, I mean, nobody really gets injured.
You would be so disoriented.
Oh,
even if you weren't injured, you would be, like, freaking out and, like...
From crashing.
Spun around and, like, in a car wreck, basically, more than that. It's, you just don't, like, get up and start.
No, the adrenaline and the fight or flight, your body fills you full of hormones and everything. Not just the spinning, but I mean everything. Your vertigo would be messed up.
Yeah, exactly. Like you'd try to run and you'd trip and like
run in different directions. And your body kind of like, it depends on, how trained you are, but your body, most people would turn to rubber,
Yeah.
Like people lose control of their bodily functions when they get in minor car crashes.
Yeah.
Not let alone big ones. All of them would have had soiled pants. Anyway, we're not talking about that movie. We're talking about Jurassic World. So those are my 2 takeaways. How about you?
Well, I guess I already really mentioned that planning character arcs for sequels.
Yeah.
Like, be careful,
Mm-hmm.
And if you're going... And the other one is, I know that Andrea doesn't agree, but... switching whole scenes, like these are 2 different movies with 2 different rules.
No, I agree with that.
I
think you could have kept the whole entire movie on the island and had that movie end with the boat escaping, and then have
And I
the next
thought,
movie be
and
on the UK.
that's what's in the trailer. So I thought that's what the movie was. So when they switched to being in England, and the whole thing takes place in this mansion,
Yeah.
that changed my expectation from.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, I was having fun on the island. Why are
Yeah.
we now not on the island?
And it's so weird because like viewers and readers, the way they handle things will be different. I feel like they should have had them be two separate movies, but I was disappointed that the movie was just going to be the volcano and the dinosaurs, because I'm like, it's too much of a genre mix to me. I would rather keep my end of the world apocalyptic volcano killing everything in its own genre and have the dinosaurs be there in their own movie. And so when I learned that there was more to the story than that, I was happy about that.
Hmm.
I mean, it's kind of like like you said, it's done better than the second movie. The second movie, it was boring the whole time they were in San Diego, you know?
It was, and that, I guess that reminded me of that, and
Yeah.
it soured it for me. It would have been better if they, like, the last part of the movie was on the island, and like, or in England, and then that was like the third movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, this was more island, and
I
then,
would have made this into 4 movies. If they're having a third movie after this, I would have done all the island, and I don't care. Like, I would have watched the whole movie even if it was just on the island, because I was going to anyway. That's what I assumed would happen. So make the whole entire movie be about them rescuing the dinosaurs and the island and the troubles they come across there. I actually expected the volcano to erupt much later in the movie, not that quickly into it.
Well, so did I. I mean, I mean, it's less than halfway through the movie, so
Yeah. And then have the second movie, have it end on a cliffhanger with them, you know, with them getting betrayed and the boat leaving, and then have the second or the third movie be just the UK and have that one end where it ended. They could have done something else different there. They could have had the auction and just, you know, we could have actually gotten to know those people that got squished by the dinosaur.
Again, there's not a real. I mean, Mills is it, but he's not that good of a villain. He's not really.
No, I mean, I liked him because the way he treated Maisie and the way he treated her grandpa, I thought that was a good way to show his character, you know?
It's not that he wasn't his character. He's just not a good villain.
No,
They don't develop their human villains well enough in these movies. And there wasn't any in the original Jurassic Park either.
No, Nedry.
Nedry's about it, but even he's not really like a villain. He's just a...
Yeah.
But it worked. And I don't think they've managed to make it work without. I feel like there should be a villain, a human villain, and they just develop it for that movie and then kill him. Mm-hmm. Like they're afraid to have like an overarching, you know, someone behind the scenes type person.
Yeah, it's like they underestimate their ability to write stories, and you know, so they're shy with you know.
Yeah, there's
some character development stuff.
Yeah, they have like the hero characters throughout, but they don't have the counter throughout.
Yeah.
But
they don't even have the hero characters throughout. It's like they're growing and learning, because the first 3 ones they didn't repeat characters very well.
No. I mean in this.
But I'm saying, so they didn't repeat characters in that one, but in this one they're repeating the heroes but not the villains. So they're learning. So the next trilogy, they'll have the characters, all of them, repeat.
Yeah, I mean the only, like we said, the only air quotes villain is Wu, and he's not really a villain. So
no, they didn't give him enough. They could have given him more of a plot or more of a personality and motivations in Jurassic World, and they didn't. So he plays the same role in this one as he did in that one. Yeah. Just more abbreviated.
Even more abbreviated. Yeah, he's hardly in it at all.
Let's see, I was going to ask you a question. Can't remember. Oh, you were saying, now my question, why haven't other movie studios done dinosaurs?
I don't know. It's so hard. I mean, it's such a big budget, and they do it so well. I would hate to be the ones that go against them. Plus, you'd have to think of a way to have dinosaurs again that
without
isn't Jurassic Park, copying Jurassic Park, and that would be difficult because it's the most plausible, even though it's not that plausible. But it's still I mean, it's. I'm willing to accept its premise.
Yeah.
How would you do it? Otherwise, you can't. Really.
Journey to the Center of the Earth.
Exactly. It'd have to be like, that's the only other thing I could think of would be there's a pocket somewhere where there's like, you know, like...
And Ice Age 3.
Island, yeah, where there's this pocket of dinosaurs that just happen to hang out, but that's not that plausible.
No.
Growing them in a lab is more plausible.
Yeah. And that's disappointing, because I love these dinosaur movies. I want more, you know?
Yeah, but these are straying into monster movies, and I'm worried about that. I prefer... There's again that plausibility of having a dinosaur. They actually existed at one point, and they hunt you, and they don't care about you. You know, how would humans fit into the food chain 65 million years ago? You know, I think that's interesting because it has that, historical, ancient, archaeological, I guess, flavor to it that a monster movie doesn't have.
Yeah.
Because you can do that with them. I mean, monsters hunt you and they don't care about you, and you're not on the top of the food chain anymore. But it doesn't have that. You don't have that connection to like real dinosaur. You go see their skeletons. Like that. This was part of Earth's history. I think that's what makes dinosaurs more interesting than just regular monsters.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we
think
imagine their ecosystem.
Regular monsters don't tend to be as diversely dangerous as dinosaurs do. I mean, the Spinosaurus compared to the Indominus Rex, compared to T-Rex, compared to
and usually
you got King Kong and Godzilla.
Well, and they usually make the monsters just to eat you, but there's plenty of other monsters. So like, brontosauruses don't care. I mean, they could kill you.
Yeah,
they could kill you, but they're not out to kill you.
Yeah.
They don't care. Monster movies, everything they make is to kill you.
Yeah,
they don't have like
Gamera.
He's the guardian of the universe.
That's what I'm saying. He's not made to kill you.
Well, that's true. But you know what? They don't usually make a whole ecosystem of a genre of creatures. Like dinosaurs are like there's tiny ones and big ones and ones that eat you and ones that don't eat you.
Ones that fly and swim and
exactly. Usually a monster movie, there's just like one or two, maybe. Like oh no, they have a flying version now. Think Tremors.
Yeah.
But they only have that one threat, and not all the
Skull Island or whatever they tried. They did have more than one. They did have more than one.
They had the giant spider that stepped on people and impaled them. And, the lizard guys with no hind legs.
Yeah. All right, we should probably end this and get you to bed.
Okay.
It's after 10, so
yeah. So anyway, yeah, good movie.
Yeah.
Jurassic World got 70% on Rotten Tomatoes.
And this one got 60.
I agree. It's not quite as good as the first one.
It's still better than...
But is certainly better than all but the original. Yeah, so in order of favorite, Jurassic Park 1, then... Jurassic World, and then this one.
Yep, agreed.
So...
I'd watch it again several times.
Enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I might enjoy it now that I know that it's not what it is and stuff.
Yeah, so that's the way I felt about No Reservations. The first time I watched No Reservations, the movie with Catherine Zeta-Jones, and I was disappointed. I don't know why, but probably because it wasn't as heavy on the romance. Like I wanted it to be more... It was
more of a drama.
Yeah, it was more of a drama. And so, but the second time I watched it, I enjoyed it. The first time I was just like, what? This is what I expected. So...
Yeah, because all they showed was like island and lava, and I was like enjoying the island in the lava. It was like really interesting.
I enjoyed it more than I thought I would, honestly, that part, all of that.
It was just such a huge, like they're used to dealing with that. And it's how the dinosaurs died originally, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
So, I mean, it was quite poetic, I guess, that they were dealing with that same scenario. And, I thought that was interesting. And then they even mentioned that they're like, this is how they died the last time, so we should just let it happen like it happened the last time. You know? And... I thought that was interesting,
Anyway, all right, we need to end. So, let's see. Yeah, if you have any questions, email at Andrea at selfpublishedstrong.com. I'm really tired. And if you have any questions for Nolan, email me. And we're having, I've already told you all this, we're having a guest person tomorrow. He's actually coming tomorrow to record and watch Casino Royale with us. That's David West. And David West, if you are a reader, go check out his books. He's a fantastic writer. And what were you going to say?
I don't know if I should say I like some of his stuff. I don't know if it's a surprise and I would ruin one of my favorite stories of his that he wrote. So I'm not going to mention it, but I like it. But I don't want to ruin it for you, so I like the twist I was going to mention. Oh. I don't know if it's
a spoiler?
Yeah, I wasn't going to. I was like, oh yeah, there's this one about this really cool thing I don't want to tell you because then it wouldn't be as cool if I told you.
Anyway.
This is a spoilers episode, but not for...
David's books.
So we're just going to let those stand on their own.
Oh, I just realized I didn't do an excerpt.
You did last time.
No, I didn't do one last one.
Yeah, you did.
Did I? Yeah. Shade Amulet? That was Lars and the Real Girl.
Oh.
Anyway, well, we should do an excerpt from David's book for Casino Royale.
One,
yeah. All right. Anyway, everyone, we'll talk to you all later. Bye.
Bye.